That's why. Hit the thumbs up button. I had it on mute. Sorry. Hit the thumbs up button. Good morning, Hung. Good morning, James. Sorry. I am literally, I was just looking at my alerts on my my iPhone. And it's crazy. I think I've got 110. I went on a selling spree yesterday. Just to let you know. Crazy how much I sold, but morning, Zephin. I took some profits, balanced out with losses. I'll kind of go over it in general. You know what? I'm going to start Hershey again. I got notification that my Hershey alert. Shit. Did you see KOLD in pre-market? I'm pulling up Active Trader Pro right now. It's not getting there, but KOLD was up like $1 or something, $1.25 in pre-market. Yeah. See, here's the thing. Hung, look at KOLD. It's still got all of the confirmation. Let me pull that up so you can see it a little bit better. Look at how far that's over the 9-day. I wouldn't be playing Boyle. I mean, you can see, you can try and time it. Maybe you can't see if I expand it, but I'll show you the, look at the MACD. Yeah, let me shrink it down a little bit. Look at the MACD. It's nowhere close. It might be, see how it crosses down like that? Might be forming that just because it's run so much. But I'm not looking to time this thing. You look at Boyle. I think Boyle was kind of flat yesterday. It's kind of flat lining. At some point it'll go up. But the market's looking pretty healthy today, to be honest with you. Let's see. Okay, we logged in. Let me get over to my OBS. I got to move this over a little bit. There we go. And I'll get over Active Trader Pro. And I have to change this every day for some reason. There it is. Just so you can see it. But let me get to the window. And we'll look at KOLD. Do not crash on me. This is a 2-day. You can see yesterday there wasn't really anything. Boyle, REI. I think you guys are doing. Yeah, I'll look at those for you, James. I think Tom had posted something about that. I just haven't had a lot of time. I am just full disclosure for you guys that are listening right now, the 5 or 6 or however many that watch. Tomorrow there won't be a podcast. I am literally going to finish this podcast, pack up, and probably head back to Atlanta. But I wouldn't play. You know, here's the thing. You're in tax. Today's episode is going to be titled Tax Loss Harvesting again. Let me put in my notes to look at those for you, though. CHRD and NRG. James and Tom. Can you guys hear when I type, by the way? I think you can because I hear it in my headphones. But let's go back to Safari because what I really want to do is scans to see. There should be some. Full disclosure, sold out of my Tesla. Yeah, James, Tom goes hard as fuck in my Twitter DMs. If you hit the @ on my Twitter, I think the entire feed's Tom. He's pretty enthusiastic about it. Good stock picker. Lot of reading. He does a lot of reading. Let's see. Core investments. Do we have any? Nothing crossed up in the core investments. Let's look at the Vanguard. Ooh, okay. Scans. Do. VWO, VX, US. I like those Vanguard funds, by the way. I like that. And let's see if there's any sectors. XLB, which is what's materials. XLB. In fact, I was just going to talk about Freeport McMoRan. That's interesting. Not owned. Let's see. UPS scanned up, and McDonald's, and Realty Income, which is interesting. UPS, McDonald's, and Realty Income. Let's look at the ARK funds. Full disclosure, too, sold out of my ARK funds. At a loss, I will say. Magic Software. No, that's not going to be a good one. Teledyne. I just got rid of Teradyne. Haven't had Teledyne, though. But I don't like that chart. I do like how the MACD's crossing down there, though. I won't put it in. I think I'm getting out, there's a great video. In fact, you know what? Let me look real quick. Because I have it in my history on the iPhone, I believe. Library. There we go. Share. Copy. I am going to put this. I want you guys to watch this video. And I'll put a post about it too, as well. It's a master course on 2023. I would record a video or a podcast like that. I won't do it as well as that guy. Just an absolute master course on 2023. Pin it. In fact, I'm going to pin it up here. I will also put it in afterwards in the comments. Pin message. I will also put it in the comments after the video is posted. But it's an absolute masterclass on 2023. Visa. Visa too. Huh. I don't like Visa over $200 though. Let's see. Dow Jones 30. Let's look at the NASDAQ 100. Yeah, James, if you ever want to, Tom's a great stock picker. Starbucks had a cross up. That's interesting. I'll put this one in. Warner Brothers, that's a recipe for disaster. AEP, I think this one is. We're going to put this one in. If you ever want to read a lot about Tom's replies to me, go to my Twitter and just hit the reply section. I think it's the ad section. Daily stock picks. MasterCard, I'm going to put in. Visa and MasterCard both had one. They move in sync. You will find enough there to, I think usually I'll get 15 notifications all at once from Twitter. And it's either porn or it's Tom. I love the guy. I just don't, he's really, really a nice, sweet guy. And he's a great stock picker. I will give him that. He has, found some things that reads voraciously, I think. I don't think the energy sector is going to have a lot. Oil's down, by the way, and if you haven't heard, China's in a nasty situation. Summit Midstream. This is like MPLX. Nah, USAC. See, I could lead you guys. I'm not going to lead you guys in here. Let's look at, you know what? Let's go back to the strategy tester and run. There's the entrance. Nah, I don't like that one. Look at REI. James and Zevin. You guys are doing well. Don't be greedy. You do have confirmation, though. Remember I told you guys, and I'll kind of go over this. Let me go over this. I'm going to keep it real short today, by the way. But remember how I told you above that 9-day? Yeah. I think I told you guys the story. I was at dinner with my family last night. And not at dinner, but we had like 15 people over. Just family. But I was telling them about the YouTuber who has a course, and it's $1,000, and he offered me $500. Hey, if you get your people to sign up, everybody that signs up, I'll give you $500. And I said, I looked at the course, and it was all moving averages, and I am big on moving averages being kind of the way the market works. But remember how I told you guys, hey, that 9-day, once it gets above this, the Bollinger Bands are syncing up. They're kind of there. I really can't see. I probably should expand this and get rid of this. But in my mind, I think you're going towards that next volume shelf. Let me pull this back a little bit. We should probably pull it back here. It's a long way, but let me pull it back there. The closer you have, James, I ain't gonna give you a price target, and the problem is here's the problem with REI. It's their debt. They have a 2.5 forward PE, but if you read about it, it's a shorted stock because of its debt. Read some of these things. Just read some of those articles. Price targets are meant to be, hey, let's look at the earnings. Let's look at, how many shares are outstanding. And they look at those types of things for price targets. In my mind, I think $2.30, $2.35, somewhere around there was the pivot point. And there's a difference between price target and pivot point. I always say, kind of proclaim on my trades, hey, there's a pivot point, like Visa, great example. I'll bring that up in a chart, but take a look at this one. REI, it's at 240, it's up. But see, here's the thing, it's a micro cap as well. So your pre-market is all over the place, but 238 is the bid, 245 is the ask. So people are asking for more than it closed at. So it should open up slightly higher. The day range yesterday was 237 to 244. So the good news is it closed up closer to the high than the low. Equity score from Fidelity. Here. I'm looking at this. Equity score from Fidelity is 8.8. So they're bullish on it. I don't read why, but yeah, it's shorted by 18.55%. So here's the likely thing that may happen, James. 18.55% is a big short. You could get a short squeeze that takes this to $6. That is possible. Not saying it's likely, but it's possible. Just don't get too greedy because you could have the rug pulled out of you as well. As many of us on this listening platform completely understand. I'm trying to figure out where the fuck the camera is on my laptop. It's hard to figure out. I'll be back home in Atlanta and have, I think I'm going to do a new setup in the new year, but we'll see. But I would say, here's what I would say, James. It's got confirmation from the algorithm. You've got, the algorithm makes you 436% versus 264% with just buying and holding. Your average win is 34%. I mean, if you got TrendSpider, you have my algorithm and you could do that. But I don't think you signed up, douche. Zephan signed up, so Zephan's your friend. While I'm on the road, just ask Zephan to take a look at it in the algorithm. So that's why I like sharing my algorithm, because, listen, it's not an end-all, be-all. I've told you guys, it underperforms a bull market, but it outperforms a bear market. So it can typically guide you into a lot of these stocks where you don't necessarily want to trade. And by the way, I will urge you guys like James and Zephan and everybody else who trades with me, Hung, you guys are traders. Go and watch that video that I pinned in the description. It is a masterclass, and he goes over, I think it's 20 years. If you would have timed the market, if you would have, if you timed the market perfectly, if you just bought during certain time periods, if you held in cash, he goes over all of these things. Again, it's a masterclass. TSL. What the hell is TSLI? You guys are crazy. Oh. So I read that Tesla had twice the normal options. Yeah, Zephan, see? It's great. And that guy does a great job. I really like his videos. Okay. I think I've got enough. Okay. I'm going to start the podcast. So I'm ignoring you guys on YouTube. Good morning. It's Wednesday, December 28th. It is a day after D-Day for me. I have close to 150, 140, somewhere in that neighborhood, alerts on my phone from Fidelity because I went through my tax loss harvesting. And here is what I did yesterday and what I didn't do and the reasons I didn't do it. And I want to tell you guys, I am 52. A lot of you are not as old as I am. A lot of you guys are younger. I have sold some things that I bought in 2010. In 2010, I was 30? No, I was 40. So that's, 10, 12 years ago. That's how long I held and sold for profits. I just posted in the YouTube chat a masterclass video on how to invest in 2023. I couldn't do it any better. So honestly, go watch his video. I will post it up on my Twitter. I will put it up on Instagram. I will put it in the private Facebook chat. I will post it as a post on YouTube. Go and watch it. It is really, really good. But again, I'm older. I've got enough long-term gains that some of these losses that I have, and all of the losses that I'm going to tell you about are long-term losses. Remember, there's tax advantages to long-term and short-term. Your short-term, you can only write off against short-term. Your long-term, you have to write off against long-term. So get your own tax professional, get your own tax advice. Your own situation might differ from mine. But here's what I sold. I sold American Eagle Outfitters, AEO. I sold ARKF. I sold ARKG. I sold ARKK. I sold ARKW. I sold BABA. I sold DraftKings. I sold ETHE, which unfortunately I held for a long period. I did not mean to hold that for a long period, but I did, as well as GBTC. Those are stocks you trade. These are similar. They are decaying assets. You don't want to hold on to those ETFs. Those crypto ETFs are trades. If you want to own crypto, you go and own crypto. We've talked about this before. I sold Meta. I sold Palantir, PLTR. I sold Proterra, PTRA, which is a SPAC that I got into, which lost money. And I sold Teradyne. I sold out of my entire position in all of those stocks. I didn't do it all at once. I did it throughout the day. I needed to get out before the end of the year. It was basically a flash sale. Think of when stores put things on clearance. That's essentially what I did. I had a significant six-figure loss in all of those stocks. Not six figures all in one, but six figures, when you put them together. What I didn't sell was AMD because it's short term. I bought it in February of this year. What I didn't sell was CrowdStrike. I bought that in August. It was short term. Those are, I have dollar cost averaged into those with some additional buys. The dollars are not down. Those are two stocks that I do want to get out to, but I didn't have enough short-term gains to write off short-term losses. So I'm going to hold those. And the reason I'm going to hold those is, while I think they're going to continue to go down, I'm at the point where if I lose a little bit more, I lose a little bit more. But from a tax advantage, I don't mind holding those for long term, because if they are down at the end of next year, I'll just continue to write those down. Now, here's what I sold for gains, and they were big gains because I came out, we're in mid six figures for those losses. I'm in mid six gains for these, and these are very, very few. I sold Coke, and the reason I sold Coke, I'm going to bring up the chart. It's close to its 52-week high, and I have held that one for a very long time. You just had a MACD cross up yesterday at 63.93. I sold it at about 64, I believe, is the price that I sold it at. When you look at FinViz and you go over to Coke, Coke's 52-week high is 67, so you're only 4% off that. I think it's going to pass that 52-week high. But you know what? Look at the chart. I don't mind selling out of this one. The chart is fantastic. It's above the 200-day. If we do wind up in the next, month or so, I can buy in again. If it comes down to the 200-day at 60, I don't mind buying in. I took the profits to write it off because remember, I took those six-figure losses. So now I have to sell my gains in order to not pay taxes. In my term, that is a 15 to 20% gain because I don't pay the taxes. I lost money, but this is what tax loss harvesting is all about. I also sold Microsoft and probably shouldn't have sold Microsoft, but because I sold it for a gain, I can get right back in. There is this gap down here between 225 and 234, which has not been filled. You're on the bottom side of the 9-day. Probably doesn't make sense to sell it. But look, you just got out with a 7% gain just a few days ago. I probably should have sold it up at 250. But from the amount that I sold, the difference between 236 and 250, I can buy it back down here, I think, at 227 at some point in time. So I don't mind selling it. Exxon's another one. Look at this chart. You've just got a monster. Yes, you're above the 9-day. Yes, you just had a MACD cross up at 107. I sold it at 110. But when you look at Exxon, your 52-week high is 114. So you're only 3% down. That's the reason I took my profits. I did not sell out of Exxon. I did not sell out of Microsoft. I sold portions of those. I sold portions of Coke. I did not sell out completely. This was to fill basically the tax loss harvest. I did sell out of my complete lot of Tesla. You guys know in July, I sold half my lot. I sold the rest of it. It's not done going down. Yesterday, it was an options mega volume on Tesla. And I just, honest to God, I think we're going down to that 80 to 100. And I can buy back in. I took a profit. I didn't take a loss. So I can always buy back in. I'm not limited to if the ones that I took a loss on, I'm limited to buying back in for 30 days. I can't take the tax write-off and buy back in for 30 days. So I'm limited to that. The ones that I took the gains on, I'm free to buy back in. So Tesla, I decided to sell out of. The other one that I sold out of was a rather small position, five figures for me, but it was a 50% gain. I'm sorry, it was 200% gain. Is Ruth Chris. I bought this right around the COVID time. And if we go back, I'll look. We're going to look at a weekly chart. I'm going to bring it back to where it was. I bought it $5. Yeah, 300%. I'm sorry. I sold it 15. So, 15 and change. So though that was my day yesterday. And when doing all of that, you have to analyze things. You have to make your pick. You have to put in all the orders. And like I said, I didn't do this all at once. I did it throughout the day. It was a big, big job. I have done the calculations. I am looking at balancing things out. I remember that I live a different lifestyle than most. I try and limit my income. I try and limit my tax liabilities. Some people would say, hey, just make as much money as you can. Don't worry about the taxes. I like gaming the system. It's a game for me. So I'm looking at 0% long-term capital gains and pulling out as much money as I can to live on, because I do have other sources of income like the MLS job, the Miss America job, all of those kind of contract jobs that I do. And there's some other income that I have from dividends and things of that sort. So I do live a different lifestyle. There are some that I have to raise more cash. So I'm done selling the losers, but I do have to raise more cash, and it's in the 5-figure range, the higher 5-figure range. And I wanted to bring up some of the ones that I'm thinking about selling, because I will be traveling. After this, I am going back to Atlanta after I record this podcast. So I will probably set these up on auto. But one of the ones that I'm looking at selling is Abbott Labs. And it's not because Abbott Labs has done anything wrong. It's just close to its high. I've held this one for quite a while. It's coming up on its ex-dividend date, January 12th. It's got a decent dividend at 1.88. But am I going to hold on for a 0.25% dividend? Probably not. It's got its earnings coming up, and you can see what it did after its earnings last time. It kind of dropped down, but it's made its way back. It's above the 200-day. This is one I'm probably going to get rid of. Another one that I'm probably going to get rid of or trim my position is J&J. This one has had just a great run this year. If we look at J&J year to date, they're up 3% year to date. It trades in between 170 and 180 on a regular basis. So I can always buy back in. I just need to take some profits in order to not pay taxes this year on. So say, for instance, I don't get out of J&J, and I have a space of $5,000 that I wouldn't have paid taxes on this year, but I take it out next year, and then all of a sudden next year I have to pay taxes on it. Well, that's a 15-20% loss on that because I paid taxes this year. I just don't want to pay taxes. So I'm looking at these other high ones. Another one that I'm looking at selling and buying back in at a lower rate is Pepsi. Again, just taking profits. It's run. It's got this ascending triangle. It's above its 200-day. You've had 3 buys in the last couple of weeks on this one. It's kind of capitulating. I think I can put it in, and maybe in the new year I'll just buy it again. XLK is one. This is one that's on its downside. I've got a big position in this one. If I need money, I'm going to sell it because I do think that this one trades between 120 and 130 in the new year. I just don't think it's going to be a crazy one. And here's the other one. And this is the tough one for me because you guys know, Apple. It's not in a good place to sell right now. It really is not. But because I can take the tax gain and buy it back, yes, my average price goes up because I'm buying it My average price right now is $5. So if I were to sell, say, one share of this, I would have, and it's selling at 130, I would have a $125 gain. That's 0% in taxes, as long as I manage my tax loss harvest correctly. So what I want you guys to think about, a lot of the younger folks in here, is watch the video that I pinned that I will post later, and understand that when you have these events in your life and you have the ability to optimize your taxes, that's what you want to do. I made basically a spreadsheet of all of my income. I put in the tax brackets that are there that I want to hit, and I basically manage these things perfectly. So you really want to make sure that you're optimizing not only your trading and your strategy on trading skills, but your taxes, because again, I'm going to pound this in everybody's heads. Taxes is a gain. If you optimize your taxes, that's just like making a great trade. So that's my story as far as the tax loss harvesting. Again, I'm going to be probably putting it in and then getting on the road. So I won't be able to watch it, but I've got it automated through Fidelity. And I'm basing a lot of these sales on TrendSpider. So, you guys saw, I looked at the TrendSpider 4-hour chart. I don't buy and sell without TrendSpider. Long-term, short-term, whatever. So, James and Tom had a good Facebook discussion yesterday about CHRD and energy. Let me look. James wanted me to look at this one. Tom wrote in the Facebook group if you want to read about it. I think it's got a huge dividend. Let me see. CHRD. It's an energy company. It's got a 3.63% dividend. It's up 31% year to date. It's oil and gas. You can read all about it on FinViz if you want. From a chart perspective, we had an algorithm buy at 136.57. You're trading at 138. It's kind of hovering around that 200-day. You can see it's just trying to break above that 200-day. I'll expand this up for you guys so you can see. The 200-day right there, it is at 142. And it tried to make a move yesterday morning, but it didn't. Yesterday afternoon, it was a little bit down from where it was in the morning. It's hugging close to that 9-day. The 9-day's positive, and it's on the positive end of the 9-day. From a MACD perspective, you can see it's clearly on the rise, kind of getting to that volume kind of oscillator line. It was down here at 136. It's moved up pretty drastically for the just a small move from 136 to 138. But you can see long term, it's kind of got this capitulation right around that 200-day. Let's take a look at the daily so we can see. Yeah, see the daily? It's just under that 200-day. The 50-day is turning slightly negative. I would be slightly concerned about a death cross there on the way down. You really don't have anything kind of quote unquote bringing it up. You are at 16% below your 200-day, your 52-week high. You are 50% above your 52-week low, and the trading range is between 91 and 164. So you still have room to get up to that 164, which was back here in June, which was the high of oil. So we're right now in a situation where oil is going down because China's not really in lockdown, but they're in the midst of just absolute hell. So you had this go down to its 90-day. Again, you're probably playing this for the dividend, I would think. But you can read more about it in the Facebook group from Tom. He did a great job in analyzing that one, and that's there for you. The other one James wanted me to look at is NRG. Take a look at NRG. I don't even know what it is. It's energy. Should have known. 32.29 is the algorithm buy-in right there. And you do have a nice MACD move. You're trading at 32.24, so you're slightly down. This one has less confirmation. You do have a... Okay. Dog's crying. Hold on. I'm not going to trip over the damn cord again. Okay. Go. Man. Oh, I was on a roll. Don't drop Boxy. Tom's out of his freaking mind. Hey, Brittany, bitch. Okay. I'm listening to the dogs in the back. Sorry the dogs had to go out. You do have this gap up here, and it's below the 200-day between 37 and 40. I'd like it to go there. The issue really is, let's see what the monkeys think about this one. There are no analyst recommendations. Insiders are selling. In fact, they just sold at the end of the year for $140, and you're trading just below that. So, did they say? Oh no, that's. I gotta put in NRG. Let's see. NRG is you're 32% below your 52-week high of 47. You are 5% above your 52-week low. There was an upgrade from Bank of America with no price target. The latest price target was December 9th, but those are all downgrades. And 37 is the price target, and you're trading at 32. Those monkeys typically are way above where you want to trade at. I don't think it's a bad one. Seeing the Bollinger, but see this Bollinger Band dip down and how tight the Bollinger Bands are? The question is, where are you going? And that's the $500,000 question. It's not giving me a big signal. I'd probably wait for this one, and I'd miss the first, 2-3%. But you need candles above that 9-day to make that move. So that's a good one. Let's look at one that I know a couple of people are in REI. It's got a confirmation. Again, remember when I said, hey, find that confirmation? It's up above the 9-day. What worries me a little bit about this one is that big MACD move up to the oscillator right there. And when you get to the oscillator, it's got to have some pretty good upward movement like this one from about 271 to about 330. And I think you're going to see that. The issue you're going to have is that 200-day at 279. So I don't want you to get greedy on this one. I want you to basically, watch this one very carefully. We were looking at this one in Active Trader Pro right before on YouTube. It's got an 18% short. So you could be looking at a short squeeze. Read up on FinViz about this one. The issue is not necessarily, this is a trade. This is not an energy, hey, I'm going to buy it like Occidental Petroleum, like Buffett. This is one where there's significant debt in this company, and that's why it's got almost 20% short interest. So read up on that one. Let's see. I am going to go over our scans, and I'm going to go over these things quickly because I'm going to make this one a very short episode. A couple of the Vanguard got some cross-ups. VWO at 39.37. It's kind of hugging on that 200-day. Remember, this is an emerging markets, so it includes China. It would include some other emerging markets, but I do think that emerging markets are probably going to be hurting in the new year. This just got out of a buy, 36.04. You're trading at 39. The algorithm loses you 21%. Buying and holding loses you 22%. This is not one that you necessarily trade. This is one that you want to buy for a long term. If I wanted to look at a long term of this one and I just go to the weekly, you're in a dip. Honestly, you're in one of these dips. This last dip that you're seeing, that was COVID. So you could be coming out of this, but VWO is one. VXUS, I don't even know which one this is. This is obviously a total international stock ETF. So it's a total international 5202. You're just above that 200-day. I'd probably like this one under the 200-day, to be honest with you, for a long-term buy. But let's take a look at the daily. Since, again, you don't want to trade this one. You really want to buy it and just hold it. You're right below the 200-day. I don't think it's anything that you're doing wrong. October, it was down at 40, 46. You're at 52 right now. Your 200-day is trading at about 53. It's an okay buy. Again, you're at the end of the year. Sectors, XLB, which is materials. I was just looking at Freeport McNamara. McNaram, whatever it is. 78.58 is the buy. You do have a little gap here around 80. Nothing crazy. Again, this is just something that you want to look at if you're looking at materials. Some of the materials company, take a look that the sector's actually in an upward trend. And I would say, yes, it is. You can clearly see we just got out of a 13% gain on this one. And if you look at a daily on this, you're just kind of using that 200-day as a support level. You don't have a gap above it. You don't have a gap below it, but you're using it pretty good support. As far as the single companies, UPS had a cross up, and we had a cross up at 176.95. Anything under 200 on this one, I think you're fine. Honestly, this is a long-term play. The algorithm makes you 18% versus 6% buy and hold. You're in 28 times. You win 40% of the time. Your average win is 5%. This is one you just buy and hold. McDonald's, which is flying high. If you guys didn't know, McDonald's is actually doing really, really well. 266 is the buy-in. You just got to have a loss on this one that got you in at 272, but you do have this gap down here, which worries me a little bit between 262 and 261. But honestly, McDonald's is the long-term buy. I don't think that you trade this one. The algorithm makes you 19%. Buying and holding makes you 26%. Your average win is only 4%. It's not a great trading strategy. This is one that you buy and hold. I think you get it closer to 260. But again, 266 to 260 5 years from now, you're not even going to notice that. Realty Income, which I believe has a huge dividend. Let me just look at the dividend real quick. Yeah, 5.65%. It is expensive. The PE is 59. The forward PE is 46. Year to date, it's down 10%. But you've had your dividend to kind of live on to. $64.11 is the buy-in. So I brought that one up just because the dividend, the credit cards, Visa, MasterCard, their spending was up. So obviously they're going to be in an upward trend. 206.29. I like the pivot on this one. Anything under 200, you buy it. Anything over 200, you kind of either take your profits or you just hold it. You just, I mean, honest to God, take a look at this, weekly chart. It's just hugging that 200 day and it's still in an upward trajectory. But you just hold it. There's no reason not to. The other one that kind of came in on this one is MasterCard, MA. It's kind of the same thing. You have this gap down here, but it's kind of hovering around the 200 day. I don't think it's a super attractive price. Just crossed up. Another one that's been high flying that is a little bit crazy is Starbucks. I got my dad out of this one, I think in the 70s back here. Bad move. Real bad move. Bad trade, but he got, and this is what I can tell you guys. This is what's interesting. So I got him out, and it was a bad trade at 74, but he got into an ETF that is up even more, like 15% or so, because with his dividend. So I think he actually wound up making money from that trade, but it wasn't like he took the money out and just sat there. He had a plan. Followed his plan. He actually did better. He can buy back into Starbucks. I think you want Starbucks closer to the 200 day at $90 though. I think 99 is probably a little bit expensive on this one, but it had a cross up. There's an American Electric Power, AEP. I know I've brought this one up before. We just got off a 10% gain on this one. 96.29 is the buy-in. You can see that quick move down in that MACD right there, and the RSI is kind of in no man's land at 54. I don't know that this is a great buy, but it kind of interested me because yesterday we had Duke Energy, today American Electric Power. You could see utilities moving up. December 19th, Bank of America downgraded them with a $98 price target. So be careful. I don't know that this is a great price because it's covering right here on the 200-day. That 85 that was so far away from the 200-day, I think that was a great price. See how closely it hugs that 200-day on the 4-hour chart. If we go to the daily, you can clearly see it just lost. I mean, there's probably a news reel on this one, but they came out with their earnings. They came out with their dividend. Everything seems fine. You've got this one only up to 100, so you could get a 4 or 5% move in this one if you buy it here. But again, the $97 price target from the monkeys. So that is everything that I had to go over. Brittany Bitch wants me to go over CTRA. Is this Coterra? Yeah, Coterra Energy. CTRA, you had a buy-in here at 24.56. You're trading at 25.59. You do have a gap up there. This gap up at about 30. But I have a feeling that this is one that, it's 5.2 on the, it's got a 9% dividend. When is the dividend X date? You got earnings coming up. They just paid their dividend. I think you could hold on to this for 30. It doesn't have huge confirmation right now. If I look at this, just where it, let me move this back. It's above the 9-day. And those Bollinger Bands right here, see how they cinched up right there? They're kind of moving up. I would say you've got it probably to 28 at least, if not covering this 30. But let's see what some of the news articles say and what the monkeys say. Downgraded, Truist, $26 price target. Citigroup, downgraded to a 23. I'd be careful. I mean, these are just November and December. They know a hell of a lot more than me. Yeah, implied volatility. Look at the Zacks usually doesn't give you great things. Wall Street Journal, fracking company featured in Gasland faces criminal pollution charges. Dude, read the news on this one. But you do have confirmation. So from a chart perspective, I think you're doing well. From a news perspective, you're one headline away from this being back at 20. Just kind of my thoughts. Okay, with that, I am done. I am packing up. I am heading back to Atlanta. There will be no podcast tomorrow. If you did make it this far, give me 5 stars because I need it, because I just wrote off 6-figure losses. I have 6-figure gains, so I came out even, but I did lose a lot of money. So hit the 5 stars, whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. Tune to YouTube Live every morning. I'm on YouTube Live. We've got a great community. The Facebook Live group, go to the link tree. You can join the Facebook Live group. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. Hit me up on the socials. And if you have any stocks that you want me to look at, just write to me. I'm happy to do it. 2023, again, watch that video that I put in. I think we're going to have a good year. I do think my prediction for 2023, and I've been saying this for a couple of months, if we're going to be in a trading range, this is not going to be a huge bull run. This is not going to be a huge bear run. I think you're going to trade on volatility, which makes it open for UVXY, for SVXY, for some of the natural gas plays, some of the oil plays. I think oil will be, I think energy will continue to be a huge, huge winner next year. Exxon, Chevron, Oxy. I don't think you can go wrong with those. And that's why I didn't sell out of my Exxon. I only took half of it off the table. I'm playing with house money now. I had 100% gain. I was at 40. I think my average purchase was like 38 or something. I sold it yesterday for $110. So I'm playing with house money. I took enough off the table that even if it goes to zero, I've made money. So I will probably buy back in, by the way, just because energy. I think energy will still go. I think you have options in the energy market. I think you take some high dividend players like Devon, like CHRD, like Tom said. Some of those MPLX, which pays a great dividend. I think you take some of those, and I think you back it up with some of them that don't pay a dividend but put it back into the business, like Chevron, like Exxon. They got a decent dividend. They're just not handing it out at 10%. So, any questions? Hit me up. Thanks, you guys, for listening. Talk to you Friday. Okay, export song to disk. Brittany Bitch Coterra. Read those headlines. Read those headlines. Okay. I'll switch you guys over to Active Trader Pro. And I think KOLD is going to be your play today. But I don't think that they're having the volatility. See how it had the volatility? And then it could open up a little bit more crazy. Okay. We're going to quit GarageBand. Save. I'm getting better at doing shorter podcasts, which for some reason I don't think gets me as many listeners. But I think it's the time of the year too. I think there are quite a few people who just aren't listening, aren't driving in the car, aren't listening. And that's what I'm taking into account. I'll put in patched in. Anybody that listens to the podcast, did you get an ad? I got an ad. And I got my ad, which was the craziest part of it. It was me reading an ad. Okay, let's see. Episodes. Let's see. We're gonna. Processing. Okay. Anybody still here? I got 9 people. 7 people. Half of them are bots, and half of you guys don't even talk, but started 53 minutes ago, and I got to pack up. I'm going to leave here around lunchtime. Get home at about probably 4 or 5 in the morning. Fun times. Hopefully you guys heard the tax loss harvesting part, because I thought, listen, I don't go into debt with the actual numbers, but you guys that are younger, you guys that are hey, Amit. What should I do? Oh, pay no. What am I going to name this? I'm trying to figure out a name. I think I'm going to name it tax. I mean, I don't think. Optimize. Optimizing your taxes is like making 20% in the market. Market update 12, 28, 22. Okay. I sold redeploy. I think KOLD is up. Yeah, I got the chart up there. KOLD is rocking. It's almost at 25. Just hit 25. I don't think I think Boyle, the worldwide recession fears, it's gonna keep Boyle down. Remember, Boyle is trading like natural gas. I think the futures are trading at about $8 or $9, and traditionally they're at 5 or 6. So you got some more room down, but it does. The chart did look good. Let me finish this up real quick, and then I'll go look at the chart. But man, I think I've gotten you guys hooked on Boyle and KOLD. I went over some pretty good strategy tips today, I thought. KOLD way up, NRG, REI. Hey, you can't argue. REI was a good trade for you guys. I think it's a good trade. Some people who got in early may have gotten out. Okay. Publish now. Yeah, let me just copy. Okay, publish now. We're gonna put this in. I have a notification. Tom probably wrote to me. Nobody follows me as close on Twitter as Tom follows me on Twitter. AAPL, and we will have to do another one. Tweet, and then close, tweet, and then boo. We'll put in Boyle. Yeah, somebody on the review said I tagged AMC, but I didn't mention AMC. He liked my podcast, but I tagged AMC in the Twitter, I guess, and I didn't say AMC in the podcast. He didn't like that. And I'm like, okay, but you shouldn't be trading AMC. I can't write back to him. But AMC is just, it's trash. Adam Aron has done everything he can to appease the apes. Amazon, GOG, GOGL, Neo, Ford, QQQ, Snap. Uvixie's in the top. Uvixie's at 702. Okay. Tweet. Let me see. No, the profit of tolerance. See, okay, let me switch back. Diamond hands. I'll switch back. Look at this. This is what's funny. Motley Fool Stock Advisor. 5 beaten down tech stocks that could explode soon. Let's see what this takes us to. And it says probably, yeah. Oh, it doesn't even. Yeah, see? I'm going to log in. Welcome back, full access premium services. I should be able to log in. Oh, here's the premium services. If you want to know what you're paying like $700 a year for, this is the same thing as fucking Kramer. It's just, look, Quest Diagnostics, Trading Desk, Amazon. Adjusted recommended price. Now, see, they recommended this fucker at like $700 versus S&P 9 point. And look at how red they are. That's versus the S&P. They ain't beating the S&P. Stock Advisor plus 329%, S&P 110% since March 2002. Well, they picked Netflix, they picked Amazon, they picked Apple. It's not hard to make 329% versus 110% on the S&P. The S&P is slow to respond to the growth sector that took case over the past 20 years. So, I mean, look at here's I'm going to take the sector. Okay. Take a look at all the red. This is Motley Fool. You had VRTX, which is First Edge Pharmaceuticals, up 34%. TTC, which is Toro, which is up 14%. You have ASML, which is that's a chip company. You have Dexcom. You have Tesla, which is still, they're up 256% on, which is great. Sedge, Solar Edge, they're up 193%. Synopsys, Zscaler. Zscaler is a great company, by the way, which has been beaten down. Shopify, they're up 107%, but they were up like 400 or 500%. And they're still recommending you buy it here. So this is why I hate companies that charge for this shit, because they're no better than anybody else. 10% promise Tuesday. Shares of Tesla fell 11.4%. The good news is that Tesla offer a quick take after a stock recommendation rises or falls 10% in a single day. If we ever think you should sell a stock, we'll tell you ASAP. Whatever. Yeah. Epic bundle upgrade. This is why I don't like these places. But okay. I don't see anything. Yeah, Apple at a crucial point, a bounce with the COVID low yesterday. Prices closed below this VWAP 128.50. Then the 120 gap target below is initiated. This is a daily. This is from Jake at TrendSpider. Let's look at a daily of Apple. By the way, futures just turned down for some reason. Let's see if there's a gap. There's the gap. 106 to 107. Maybe I should sell Apple at 129. Take my profits a little bit. Huh. Okay. I think I'm rambling. I'm going to go eat some breakfast, get on the road. I will see you guys on Friday. Take care. Hit me up on the socials if you have any questions. See you guys.